you find yourselves watching as Erlenthana is thrown from his mount. He cries out in surprise and screams the entire way down, chilling and fearful as he falls 50 feet through the air. The saddled griffin wiggles in circles as if trying to toss a massive leech from its neck. Below, there is a sickening crunch, and you hear the top of a fir tree wiggle and topple. The griffin cries out in confusion and dives toward its rider. In the sky, Erlen's counterpart watches as her captain falls. Reroll initiative. Kaysen at advantage.
Stunned at the sight to behold, Rain has a natural 1 for 3 total.
Matilda at 19.
You're not that old yet.
Is +2 still right for my initiative?
As long as your dex is 14 or 15, sure.
Julianne with 4.
17.
16.
God, why do I have to go first?
Oh, you don't. Sporgle with a 22.
Save us, Sporgle.
Ari, can you roll me off against the rider, please?
$13 again? Or 17, then 13.
Got it. At the top of the order, Sporgle.
How high up are these griffins right now?
One is downed. One followed. So Erlen's followed his rider. It is, as far as you can tell, it dove below the trees. You imagine it must be down on the ground with him. The other griffin is moving in a long, swooping circle 50 feet off the air. Sorry, 50 feet in the air.
Okay, I think that's out of range of my short bow. And even then, I don't think Sporgle would... Yeah, Sporgle's going to climb down from where he is and get on the just on the inside of the cave.
Are you entering the cave?
Yes, that's correct. Well, I'm going to be... I mean, I'm at the mouth of the cave. So I don't know if you want to consider that all the way in the cave or not.
From a map perspective, I feel like where you are right now is perfect.
Okay, then. And he's just kind of head on a swivel, seeing what everyone else is going to do, and I'll end my turn there.
Tilda.
I will walk up. And I'll hiss, Kaysen, what the fuck are you doing?
It seemed like a good idea, and then it actually worked, and freaking out a little bit right now.
I will take out my weapon. I will take a knee as I hold it out, and I will hold my action. If somebody directly attacks Kaysen, I would like to throw it at them.
You do
Done.
so, holding your action.
And I
Kaysen.
don't have
Say again, Kaysen.
and I don't have my shield.
Correct, but it is your turn.
Oh jeez. Okay. So all of the triumphant feelings from about 10 seconds ago game time have definitely dissolved. He is going to book it as quickly as this terrain will allow. I'm thinking it will take about 2 turns to get over here, so
The forested tiles are rough terrain and take double movement.
if I dash, since this right here is regular terrain, can I make it about 40 feet?
Your movement is 30. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's going to double it to 60. If you're taking 20 to get to the tree line, then you're going to take another 20 inside of the tree line. So 20 at 1x and then 20 at 2x puts you at 60. But you may spend that movement however you see fit.
Okay. Kaysen is going to use his action to dash and book it. He's trying to ignore the griffins for the moment and just deal with that when that happens. And that is my turn.
From the forest, you can see the griffin, Kaysen. It is down here with its rider. It is nudging Erlen with its beak. It is chittering and clicking as it prods his bloodied face gently with its avian face. The rider with a 17. She looks down, circling from above. She must have a good view of her captain from up there. She removes a brass horn from her belt and blows. The tone of the horn warbles and quavers. The rider is out of breath, and every tone has the character of a war-torn banner. Pieces missing, but still catching the wind. And in your mind's eye, you can see the flag standing over something, a little token of a town, a wooden piece carved for a board, Evening Star, here, and a green banner with a single golden pillar waving in the wind. Here on the prime, the rider uses the dash action, urging her griffin eastward, directly overhead. The air above you is disturbed by the power of the wings on which she rides. Her horn trumpets again as she rides eastward over your heads and past the tree line. No way.
As Kaysen dashes off and as Tilda moves to position herself sort of in the middle of this exposed clearing, I think she will dash forward, not dash. She'll move expediently forward to sort of give Tilda cover, and then in towards Kaysen's retreating figure, she enchants something of a prayer to Shantaea, something with take heart, and she'll cast Shield of Faith on him, so he has 2 AC. +2 to his AC in the absence of his own shield, which Ran is holding behind her. And she turns to the others and she says, I don't think it's a good idea to remain out here. I think we need to retreat back into the cave and find another way out.
When you cast Shield of Faith, I'll whisper under my breath, wow, nice.
Ren, can you go help him?
Ran locks eyes with you. Him?
Jason.
The rider. Kaysen. In the woods? As you wish, my lady.
He sort of flusters miserably at this, but sort of nods, and then I think that will be... She'll hold her action similar to... Do you need a bonus action available to hold your action?
No.
No? Okay. She'll hold her actual action in case somebody starts attacking Kaysen, but otherwise her turn ends here.
And which flows nicely into Rand's turn. Rand, urged forward by you, takes the dash action. And that's as far as he can get. Kaysen, you can hear Rand clambering through the branches behind you. He ends his turn. It becomes Yosan's turn. Yosan uses half of his movement, standing between you, Noe, and you, Tilda. One moment. He thinks for a moment about what spell to cast, looks between you. Mastery comes through repetition. Let us try again. Geminis, twin my spell. Alacritas, haste. Both of you are hasted, giving you advantage on dex saving throws, 2 AC, and an extra action.
Can I clarify who both of you is?
You and Noe, the two people standing immediately adjacent to Yosan, who is looking down at you, Tilda. And they end their turn. Julianne with a 4.
Julianne is just going to move out of the cave to the entrance. And that's how she'll use her turn after gathering her supplies.
One moment, Julian. Roll20 related map issue. Just give me 1 second.
If you want, you can just use her whole turn, because she wasn't too far from the door, I don't think, so... Or just in 2 turns, just put her on the map, if that's easier on you.
How about, the first option, just you use your turn, you're close enough to the entrance, getting to the front, seeing what's going on. I'm just going to make you a fresh token. I don't know what happened to this map. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
How about, would you like to, coming to the front of the cave here, Julianne, would you choose to, is there anything you'd like to discern? See somebody's wounds, what they're currently doing, what's going on in the world? Is there anything that would catch your eye, anything you'd like to try to discern?
The 2 immediate things that are going to be that are going to stand out is probably the smoke that's nearby, and all of these orange globules that are on the ground, and the polluted water that is now tainted at the entrance of the cave as it flows out. And then she'll make a quick glance over to her left, and then straight ahead. Sporgle and Rain, I presume, at a glance, look fine. And the Saint Cyr, how's he looking?
Yosan is mildly injured. He is not bloodied. They are not bloodied, but you can see that they were in melee combat with these ochre jellies, and on their forearms you can see that the skin is bubbling and blistering.
Okay. Julian notices that, and then that will be her next point of movement, is to check up on him.
Rain.
Rain spools the sensor back up into their hands, trying to wrap the chain around their forearm, and they'll be scooting as quickly as possible across this little polluted river up to the cavalcade in front of them, calling out back to Noe, saying to go back into the cave. I'm all for getting out of eyesight of them, but I believe the one above us is going to get friends that way, and if the cave has any other entrances, it will be near a bunch of armed and very angry elves. We should leave the town, find friends. Will end his turn in a scuffle behind this shield wall, really.
At the top of the order, Sporgle with a 22. Sporgle, you acted first here, and you have more than anyone else have spent time on the high ground. You noticed something before anybody else. North of the stream, you just saw movement in the trees. You don't see anything there yet, no clear figures, but something definitely pushed a tree to the side there. You saw the characteristic movement that would suggest that someone is there.
How, when you say north of the stream, like north of the mouth of the cave, or a little bit further to the west?
A bit further, maybe 40 feet west of Trieste.
Okay, and then straight north from there.
Exactly right.
Sporgle will call out, try to get the attention of the... Actually, hold on. He will move there. I'll dash, let's say, because I think I have to dash to get all the way there. And he will try to get everyone's attention, and then he'll point north into the trees and say, "Something, move, something coming. Go, leave." And that'll be Sporgle's turn.
Tilda.
I'd like to stand up and cast Mirror Image on myself. A Tilda Duplicator.
How do you imagine the
say-
pattern? Oh, go ahead, please.
How do I imagine the pattern? In like a straight line, just like 3 tildes in a row. This is what you get. I'm all looking at you. I'm gonna tap Noe on the shoulder, oblivious to how I now appear. No, wait, what are we doing? Are we fighting or running? I can't tell.
I think Noe at that will actually look to Chosan and with clear, what should we do?
Your son looks in the direction of Ran and Kaysen. They think for a minute, for a moment. At this point, I fear we're saving them. Wherever they ran off to.
As he says that, I'll take the dash action.
You're fast. Just go. Wherever they went, that's where we're going. This is what it's like spending time with Rand, just so you know.
He's in the dust. I know well about my brother's hijinks, but I have no time for this. I'm right behind my brother, skidding up to him. I think I'll say in a very fast tone, "I'm Ran, I'm here. What can I do? I'm right here."
Let's go. Do you have your sword?
I have my sword. I have Dad's sword. I'll drag a little divot in the dirt with it.
You do so.
I'll end my turn.
Kaysen.
Okay, I'm going to continue with using dash, even though it is getting incredibly difficult to move at a sprint through this forest. So, at risk of getting scratched or twisting up an ankle, I'm going to continue sprinting and end up right here. So not quite there, but definitely close enough that I'm sure the griffin just noticed me.
One moment, Kaysen, rolling something here on my end. That is exactly what happens. The griffin turns and looks at you down the axis of its hooked golden beak. Each of its eyes is the size of half of your forearm. The saddle on its back is empty, and it shimmies its body and nudges the rider, who is motionless. Kaysen, as an optional reaction, you may attempt to intimidate the griffin. No roll is possible. You know that this predatory and clever mount can understand Sylvan. Should you choose to react, you may be able to intimidate this creature. Failure, may cajole it to attack. Do you react?
1 second. I will take a reaction,
Okay.
and I know I'm in the trees, but I will wait until the bird has noticed me, and I'm just gonna look at it and just say, that was a party trick. Have you ever had a dream that you were a worm? Because that's what you're gonna be if you interfere. You're gonna be slithering across the ground for the rest of your life, wingless, with all the other little creatures and the dirt after I clip your wing feathers off. And the thing that's going to hurt the most is going to be your neck from craning up to look at the sky. So I'm going to come, and I'm going to take your rider hostage. He will not die, but you are not going to interfere, or I will burn you to a crisp. Do you understand?
It tilts its head, looking at you for a long moment. And then you feel the beating of its wings as it begins to take flight. It remains your turn, Kaysen.
Oh, shit. Okay. I am not going to look a gift griffin in the mouth. Okay, perfect. Okay, I am going to walk at a brisk pace, but without using dash, and rush over and quite literally skid to a stop and just drop to the ground and look for any sign of life, movement, breathing. Check his pulse at least before I take any action.
You won't have enough time to check his pulse that'll require a medicine check. However, you can take a brief once-over, and you find that Erwin is motionless. He is sitting upright at the base, at the broken trunk of a tree. This fir tree seems to have broken his fall. Even though he's sitting upright, his neck is slack and his head is resting on a branch. It looks like he was trying to remove his helmet. The strap sways gently, suggesting that he was conscious for the moments surrounding his fall. The front plate of his breastplate is missing, and the leather rigging underneath is a ripped tangle. His sword is still in the scabbard. His griffin whistle is tied around his wrist. Deep, obvious lacerations are present on his exposed shoulder and torso.
Oh, Lathander, I fucked up this time. Oh, what have I done?
He looks badly injured.
Please, please, please don't be dead. Oh, by the gods, by your god too. Well, I know you can't stand Lathander, so let's hope this doesn't burn you. And he will cast Cure Wounds for... Sorry, it should be 1d8 plus 1 for 6.
Noted. You heal him for 6 hit points. You watch his ribcage draw outward as he takes a breath. Noe with a 16.
Noe takes off after Tilda, but I think pushes on even faster, further past her using both of the actions granted by haste to dash. So if I calculated this correctly, puts her about here.
I agree. You push through the trees. You notice the Lochlaren siblings standing next to one another, surveying the scene from afar. You see the griffin beginning to lift off, and you watch as Kaysen heals Erlen. It remains your turn, Noah.
I think that she is sort of shocked and confused about what's going on, and what the intention and purpose of all of this is at this point. And she sort of yells over at Kaysen. This didn't work the first time. Take his sword.
Am I able to react and take it, or is that a whole action for a different turn?
I think it would be a whole action for another turn.
It didn't work last time because we were letting Ed call the shots and Ed wasn't doing anything, so we don't know what they're up to. I say let's take a hostage.
You take him when he's unconscious.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
She looks so scared for Kaysen, but this is the extent of what she can do in this moment. And I think she just says, Lathander guide you.
One moment. Sporgle and Rain. You see 2 people at the edge of the tree line. When you see them, they see you. They whistle over at you. There are 2 of them, crouching low in the brush, both wearing orange scale mail. One is obviously in charge. She looks young, a human woman in her early 30s, with short, practical brown hair. She has a hand crossbow on her right forearm, and when she sees you, Sporgle, she holds it vertically. She has a dagger on either side of her belt and gives you a little nod. She sizes you up, Rain. Hail, adventurers. You're caught in the thorns a bit, aren't you?
Seems to be.
Shrike and her blaze hold their action for now. Ran with an 8. Ran clambers through the trees, deftly moving just past you, Noe, and when he does so, he gives you a little nod. He arrives on the scene just as the griffin is taking off and flying eastward. The griffin offers one final look down below at its rider, but it seems to be still thinking about Kaysen's words. Kaysen, you see Ran rush up to you just as you heal Erlen. Ran looks at you with questioning eyes, as if he's not sure what you're doing.
Sorry, one sec. Sorry, one of my neighbors is going insane, honking their horn about 75 times.
Do you need a minute?
I think I'm good. That was good.
We can take a $5 if something's going on. Yeah, do you want
Just
to?
give 2 minutes. I don't know what's happening, but I can't
Yeah.
hear myself think over this horn.
Let's take a break. Go make sure everything's okay.
Let me just peek outside.
Sure. Yeah, please.
I hope it's a raccoon sitting in the middle of the driveway.
Yeah, he's trying to get his attention of the passenger. He's an Uber driver. The raccoons are driving the cars now.
It's about time they started giving back.
Mhm.
Okay, there's somebody at the house across the street. I think they're irritated that somebody's not coming outside and they're honking a bunch, and I've made awkward eye contact with them, and I think they're done.
Got it.
But they're still waiting for their person to come out. Okay.
I heard that one.
God bless America. If it keeps going, I might move the computer into another room. Let me take 2 more minutes.
Yeah, we can take your time. No worries. I think David and Falmari are also taking a break. There's a unified Dave break.
Have I mentioned how much I hate this neighborhood? Have I mentioned recently how much I hate it? Because I hate this neighborhood.
So valid in this moment.
They can buy my house.
What'd you say?
Said they can buy my house.
Went outside, told him to knock it the fuck off, and he yelled Merry Christmas to you too.
Love the
Damn.
holiday season.
Jeez.
Welcome back.
He just drove off and then yelled Merry Christmas. Okay. Well, he's gone now.
The ends justify the means. Rand Lochvarn has just looked at you, and he gives you this expression, Kason, of, what are we doing? He just saw you heal Erlen after getting him down from this griffin at great velocity. It's Rand's turn, but he just looks at you pleadingly.
Hey, a dead hostage is a useless hostage. I want him alive, not walking.
Yosan sees the flaming fist and offers their hand. Yes, hail. From the fist I see. A major. The major nods. Yosan gestures to the south. You must already be aware of this, but there's some type of elven raiding force. The elves of the West are here for some reason, doing something. And the major nods in response. Julienne. Did your token disappear? I could have sworn I just put one.
Yep, she.
It did.
I apologize. I apologize. Julianne.
I will move over the water gingerly as much as possible to not get my boots contaminated with this weird goop mixture, and then I'll immediately move over to how do you pronounce his name?
Yosan.
Yosan, you shouldn't be moving. You are burned. Please let me take a quick look. And as Julienne is mentioning this, from the corner of her eyes, she'll glance up and see both fists at the edge of the creek. And she will let out a deep sigh as she starts to pull out a bandage for Johan. Shoot. They weren't supposed to be here for a few more days. Still had 3 days for these. And as she mumbles this under her breath while pulling out the bandages, she will raise up her hand and make the symbol of the fist to them, greeting them as merrily as she can muster at the moment.
The major sees your fist and recognizes you, Julianne. She says, Julianne Willowstride, I knew Joaquin would come through. My Monop is a cleric, but he is downed. He needs immediate medical attention, and my squad needs to take a short rest. Can you help us? She gestures behind her, where there's a cleric being barely held up by another Flaming Fist commando here at the tree line, making 4 of them in total.
Yes, Major. Let me attend to this one first, and I'll take a look at them. If you two are fighting fit, please assist the children.
Children, she says, raising both eyebrows.
Youngs, teens, children to me, you know this.
Yusan holds their arm up for your bandage. Thank you, Julianne.
Of course. You need to work on your stance. This is ridiculous.
It remains your turn.
I am using my action to apply the bandage, so I guess is that a medicine check of some sort, or can I just apply a bandage?
I think you can apply a bandage. We will why don't we heal Yusan for D4?
Sure.
you, due to the nature of the wounds, it's like it's like weeping blisters from the acid of the ochre jellies. You can stabilize a little bit just by applying a bandage, soaking up some of this foul fluid.
It's a very quick wrap job, and it's only 1 health gain, but is enough to, I would hopefully presume, to stop any bleeding.
It does. It stops some of this clear fluid that's running down their arm.
That's all we can attend to at the moment.
Rain Dainavir with a 3.
Rain turns on Tail as soon as these two fists make themselves clear, and they're not bearing arms at us. He'll take a knee very quickly and try to whisper into Sporgle's ear. Do not let them find the body anywhere but in there. And as briefly as he says that, Rain is going to try to catch up to the kids on the tree line. Let me measure out my movement real quick. I could just barely make it up to where Tilda is. Through the tree line, Rain has no idea how everybody else is faring with a guard captain and Griffin.
You can't see very well through the trees. You think you see the outline of Arsinoe St. Cyr. You arrive next to Tilda.
Oh, there are many of you now. And I'll end my turn.
At the top of the order, I'm rolling initiative for a freshly conscious Erlen. 1 moment. At the top of the order, Sporgle with a 22.
Sportle's a bit overwhelmed right now. When he saw the soldiers coming, he had like an arrow knocked and his weapon like half raised, but it seems like the chatter back and forth has been pretty friendly, and so he lowers it back down again, and he has no action right now. I will basically just pass for now.
Tilda.
I'd like to push through the brush. Take a dash action to close the distance. I imagine somewhere around here.
I concur.
In the area of. I would like to flank Ran with my Phantom Tildas.
You do so, making no less than 4 Lockhlarans in a line.
And I'll say, I'm with you, brother. I heard some other voices. We gotta make this quick.
He turns to look at you. He has his sword and his fresh Lathandrite shield up to form a barrier between you and Erlen. He says, more voices, what do you mean?
Somebody else is back there, not Elvin.
Yosan? The goblin.
Ran, stop being dull. There's somebody else over there.
He gives you a look that he has struggled his entire life not to be dull. It remains your turn, Tilda.
I'll pass my turn. I've done enough.
Kaysen, with a 17 plus, you realize something. Erlen's eyes are fluttering back into consciousness. You have healed him and brought him here. He's probably just about to act, but you're just a bit faster. It's your turn.
I'm going to, if I can do both of these in one turn, disarm him and put my hand on his neck and just say, "Welcome back to the world of the living. No sudden moves. There's a lot more of us than there are of you. Go ahead and be a good hostage for me and Just sit pretty.
You have the jump on him. Let's roll athletics at advantage to see if you can get your hand on the hilt of his sword, and then your other hand around his neck before he can react. I'm going to roll athletics against it at disadvantage. Your DC is 11.
One moment. 16. Rolling lucky lately.
You do so. You tell Erlen to be a good little hostage as your hand finds his throat. He feels delicate. It feels like it has the same consistency as a copper pipe that you could easily crush with your hand. It remains your turn.
How much time left do I have on this turn? Like, just enough time to talk or enough time for, like, a quick movement?
Fleeting movements. Pithy barb.
Now that I've got you right where I want you and I don't have to waste a use of divine sense on you, worthless little Corellite, mind if I check something real quick? And I'm going to just push his upper lip up. Give his fang a little poke.
He has fangs. There's blood in his mouth. You can feel a sharp fang under the flesh of your thumb.
Looks like it was you. And that's my turn.
Which becomes Erlen's turn. You have your thumb in Erlen's mouth. He bites down hard. One moment. Take 3 piercing. You feel his fang close around your thumb and find the bone. Blood spurts into his mouth and a thin spray flies around you. He drinks deeply. He can't talk very easily with your hand in his mouth, but his eyes intensely stare directly at yours. He drinks your blood and ends his turn. No way with a 16.
I think there's only something graceful about this in the way that she has been taught to carry herself her entire life, but she goes over there and with her halberd just knocks him the fuck out. So this will be an attack roll with the intention of being non-lethal. So if she has to use the non-sharp edge of it, like, you know, Kaysen's on top of him. He's pinned down.
Effectively, I would look at this as a non-lethal coup de grace.
Yes.
No roll required.
She just sees the blood. She sees Kaysen there sticking his fingers in this strange man's mouth. She feels something stirring in her, and it's immediate, like, extinguishing the flame of a candle. Just reach down with her halberd and end this farce of whatever this conversation was intended to be.
Thank you. He bites fucking hard.
You thud him in the head as hard as you can with the blunt side of your halberd. Is that correct?
Yes.
No roll required. You do it. His skull stops the blunt side of your halberd, and he is once again unconscious from your non-lethal damage. The sound is sickening, Kaysen. You feel it happening. You feel the impulse transmitted through Erlen's body to yours. That must have hurt. Anything else, Noe?
Let me check something real quick for action economy.
think you're still hasted too.
He did have to use dash as
Mm.
her haste in order to make it through the terrain to get here in time. Okay, so she doesn't have any bonus action that she can do at this point, but I think she does turn to Kaysen and gather his bleeding hand in hers, and sort of like holds his hand between hers, concentrating as if she's about to heal him. She doesn't have the time yet to do it. The camera's about to shift focus, but she is shaking a little bit.
I'll try to wave her off. Like, don't worry about it. Don't waste it on me. And I'll like kind of try to pull my hand away.
Put it away. Put it away. And that's it.
Shrike looks to the sky. She points and talks to her blaze. She says, in the sky, 30 degrees, there's the second rider. Range, 400 yards, flying east. I'm ready to aim if she comes back around. One less griffin, though, I suppose. The Flaming Fist Major looks around with an investigative eye before she corrects her counterpart. Alright, one fewer griffin. Check the scryer again. We're getting close. Let's get them on up some medical attention. The Blaze and the Major walk across the river. The Blaze helps his staggering Monip closer to the river. The Flaming Fist ends their turn. Ran with an 8. No way. Ran grabs your collar. What are you doing? Regardless of anything else, that's an unarmed prisoner. You just hit him with your halberd? That's not valorous. That's not honorable. How could you do that? I never would have thought... Arsinoe, he's injured. He was on his knees. What oath do you follow? How could you?
Can you take his sword off of him, Rand?
No, I disarmed him in the last turn.
He maintains eye contact with you, Noe, where he walks around you, nonetheless following your lead, helping Kaysen take Erlen's sword.
Anyone have anything they can tie him up with? If we're doing this?
Well, I don't think we'll need to tie him up anymore. To Rand's point, Erlen is now lying slack-jawed in the mud. His mouth is open. Rand ends his turn, aghast and perhaps questioning himself. It's Yosan's turn. And they look over at you, Julienne. Yosan St. Cyr lowers their voice and whispers, Julienne, I think it's going to be extremely bad if they get into the cave. What do we do?
Don't let them in the cave. I'll talk to them.
Please?
I need to help them a nip anyway.
We need to get my father.
Find them.
Yosan ends their turn, Julienne. It becomes your turn.
So, does he still look pretty bad off?
Yosan, he looks stable. He's injured and has some long-term injuries, but is certainly stable enough to talk to you and hold the pain back.
I believe I should have a couple healing potions left. May I hand one of those to him and then dash over to help the on it?
Absolutely. You hand Yosan a healing potion, and they down it quickly. This heals for 2d8 plus 1, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. They heal for 9.
Good enough.
And
Before
good.
Sorry. Before I dash off, I will whisper under my breath to Yosan. When it's convenient, step away, find your father, and report back to me once you can.
They nod at you, Julian.
I will hand him my other healing potion out of the 3 I have remaining. Save this for your father in case he needs it. Do not drink it yourself.
They take it and tuck it into the robe.
Okay. After he does that, I will sprint over to the Flaming Fists, and I will signal to the Blaze to bring the Monops over. And as I signal for that, I will turn to Major Shrike. Shrike, has there been any word from Vidathis recently?
Shrike tilts her head and looks at you.
My teacher?
Ah, that's not why we're here, admittedly. If there was word for you, I would have brought it. But we're here to get the Flaming Fist command out. I could certainly see why that would include you, potentially.
Right.
There has been... I have heard of no word from your mentor, but certainly we have more exigent concerns, wouldn't you say, Julian?
I would say the concerns of him, myself, and everyone else fall a little bit in parallel, so I guess it just depends how you ask, or how you think.
Can you help my cleric first, please?
Yes, of course, that's why I'm here.
Julian, the Blaze is holding up the Monop. The Monop is holding a war cleric's raiment of helm. The armor around his left shoulder and collarbone is mangled, exposing his neck and trapezius, which bears 3 parallel wound channels that are soaking through a mass of white bandages with bright crimson arterial blood. The Blaze looks at you. The owlbear got the veins in his neck.
I see you ran into the owlbear too. Okay.
2.
Stay steady. Oh. Owlbear? That's what you just said, correct?
Aye.
Yes, we ran into one several nights ago. A night ago. I think the elves have druids on their side, I'm not sure.
The Flaming Fist all seem to internalize this information. They listen to you and trust you, Julian.
Anyway, remove the shoulder pad. Remove what you can. Let's get this patched up and stabilized. We need to put pressure on it immediately. And I'll pull out what bandages and other necessities that I have on hand to try and stabilize it, as I did not bring too much because I have not visited the lab yet, because this was an unexpected travel.
You spend some time attempting to stabilize the Monop. Rain with a 3?
Dashing through the tree line. He can make it just about there, and should see that no griffin and everyone is at least whole. At least he gets caught up in his words, as if he's about to put them to the fire. At least we're whole. Behind us, there's a strike force of the Fist, the wounded, and we need to fucking go. And then he'll catch the fact that Erlen is currently being mounted and disarmed and bludgeoned. Why is everyone bleeding? He'll say, out of breath, and end his turn.
And I have stuffed my bleeding hand into my pocket out of sight until I figure out what to say about this.
Your thumb bleeds into your pocket. At the top of the order, Sporgle with the 22.
Sporgle doesn't know what to make out of any of this. He's so confused why there's so much inaction going on. So he just kind of wants to be able to keep track of everything. So he's going to try and get some high ground again. He's going, but he doesn't. Now that he knows that there's griffins around, he doesn't want to sit up on the rocks. So he wants, with the dash action, he will head to about there and climb up in the nearest tree and try to, keep an eye on the group near Arlen and the Flaming Fist group as well.
From across the way, Sporgle, you see the gray cat studying you as you crawl up in the tree. Tilda.
So, where are we going with this guy?
No idea, but we just stole an elf, so we gotta go somewhere.
Yeah. Somewhere implies where.
We need to take him south into town. My father will know what to do.
The Flaming Fist are here. We need to leave immediately and permanently. I'm going to get everybody else, and we're going to leave. And I'll say to Kaysen and Sylvan, pick one between healer and fighter. It's confusing. And the Tilda squad will peace out.
Kaysen.
I don't know much about the Flaming Fist, but I have the feeling if they see him here, we will lose our bargaining chip. I will kind of awkwardly trying to move while barely hiding my thumb. I'm going to pick him up and sling him over a shoulder. Okay, south. South, we're all agreeing south.
Rain replies with just a arm outstretched southward.
Ran shrugs his shoulders as if he has no idea what's being proposed or what provenance could possibly lie south. You have control of the Arlen token, and you move at half speed while you're carrying him over your shoulder. Forgive
If
me,
I am
Arlen.
moving through difficult terrain also, am I moving at quarter speed?
You are trudging along and just barely. It's pretty tough to carry someone over your shoulder through the woods. You can do it, but it's going to be pretty close to maybe 10 feet of movement a turn. You can do it,
Okay.
but it's going to be slow.
Yeah, the first thing that I want to do is just get into the tree line because I don't want to be seen. So I will move these two. Move them over here. Up, up. And I'm just gonna start walking, hoping that people are following. And trying to figure out how to voice not only what I just confirmed, but also still mulling over the dream that I had last night.
There's a lot on your mind. Erlen is unconscious and forfeits his turn. No way with a 16.
Noe, I think, turns to Rand sort of with this air of relief. Distant, but it's the sense of now she finally has the option of being able to step down from the pedestal he's put her on. And she says, listen, we tried to treat with this man just yesterday, and the moment that he was awake, he has this whistle. He can summon his griffin. He's the reason our inn tavern is flattened. And he was spiritually complicating Kaysen. Whatever it is you think of what I had to do, my intentions were pure. And with that, I think she turns and looks at Rain and says, Master Rain... Sorry, go ahead.
You find him already trying to put his fingers in your ears as you're having your conversation between you and your brother. As if it were not a conversation for his... yes?
Rain is Tilda's brother, just out of character.
I'm sorry. I got them confused because your brother is older brother.
And she sort of gives him just an odd look, like this is a surprising concession of etiquette. But she gestures to get his attention and says, when you have a moment, will you check on Kaysen's hand? I saw Erlen bite him.
Oh, for fuck. Great. It means I've saved 2 vampires' lives. Wonderful. Let's make it 3.
I'm sorry. And she'll turn and I guess go trudging along into the woods after Kaysen. Is it possible for her to assist Kaysen in carrying this load so that they can speed up?
Yes, you may lend your assistance to Kaysen, and if you're holding both ends of Erlen or you're both holding their torso, yes, you can make faster movement.
He looks grateful and also extremely surprised because of what Erlen did to her, or at least his griffin.
Are you alright?
Me? Oh. Finger? Fine.
Me.
Mentally alright? No. A lot going on here.
Okay, well, I know this is not the time, but you can talk to me if you want.
I was just worried for a minute that I might have actually killed him, and I don't want that to become something that's easy for me.
She nods and says, no, with the power that we've been entrusted with, if we are to kill, it must be done with intent, not by accident. I am grateful to you, no matter what. You did save me.
And I am taking him as some insurance. We don't know if these elves plan on capturing anyone, or maybe if they already have, but I figure if we can keep him with us, that should discourage elf shenanigans.
Yes, I suppose I fear the opposite, that it may be kindling to some future pyre, but it's happened and we'll figure it out together.
I would eventually like to get some bindings on his hands or something when we can find some rope. Maybe Sporkle catch us up? I'm sure he knows how to tie a knot or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think that's about the time that they have during no always hasted action, but yeah.
The flaming fist go. The major takes something out of the Blaze's hand and shakes it. Julianne, you see something. Something lights up in Shrike's hand. She looks to the east and then to the south. She studies the rock. She shakes it again and turns to the Blaze. Southeast, southeast. Is something wrong with this? The Blaze takes it from her hand and shakes it himself. Julianne, you see this rock lighting up as they shake it. Could be 2. Shrike nods her head. Very well. Let's follow the east one first. That's how we got here. Julianne, how's my Monop doing? My cleric?
I'm working on it. He's doing better. But I'll still need a little bit more time. May I ask, though, Pratik, what is that stone that you keep shaking vigorously as though it were a child that is misbehaved?
She,
I say with jest, of course.
of course. She holds out her hand and shows you what's in her palm. It appears to you as a translucent crystal, Julianne. She shakes it for your benefit. And as she does so, you see cardinal directions light up. A flash of yellow light to your south, and then a flash of yellow light to your east. It appears to be some type of compass. Never seen one of these before? A scrying stone. It tracks something.
No. Traditionally, I just scribed myself. Unfortunately, with how the things are nowadays, I can't do that. So this must be a newer advance, and unfortunately, me being out here, I haven't been bestowed the honor of seeing this. Now, mind you, I still have my own ways of scrying here and there, but nothing of this caliber.
Well, if we get you back to Amon, I'm sure we can show you any number of things that would be new for you, but we're here to get the Major and the Marshal out of here. The Lieutenant and the Marshal out of here. You've seen Lieutenant Kit, I'm sure? She shakes it again. It's still saying south and east. South and east.
I have seen Kit.
Blaze, stay here with this Monip. Goldsmith, you're with me. She shakes it again.
Quickly, Julianne is getting distracted and she needs to quickly turn her attention back to the Manip, otherwise if she slips up it could get worse.
You continue to tend the Monip's wounds. The Flaming Fist ends their collective turn. Ran with an 8. Ran looks at you, Noe, and seems to think about what you just said and the circumstances therein. He sighs and follows the two of you into the woods as you move Erlen's body. He turns over his head. Rain, are you coming? Are we going here? What are we doing?
Yes.
What's happening over there? Where's Tilda? Where's my sister?
Rain is in process of both following and rumbling through their pack for many things, and will somewhat hiss back. I can't keep eyes on everyone.
Tilda, it is with a measure of dread that you hear your brother yelling your name across the forest. Rand yells, "Tilda!"
Can I react and smack him?
Yes.
Like clap my hand over his mouth?
You're not fast enough to stop him, but you might be fast enough to abjure him. Your hand closes around his pretty stupid mouth, and he looks at you and ends his turn. Yosan, with a 5, walks toward the Major and says, perhaps with a bit too much optimism, "Have you seen my father Laird? When you were coming through, did you stop in the town? Where did you go?" The Major pauses and says, "You said Laird. Laird. You should come with us." Tilda, roll perception.
Four.
You hear this conversation. It seems that Yosan is going with the Major. Julianne with a 4.
as I continue to tend the wounds, do I overhear the
Yep.
major?
Oh, do you? Oh, I think you're going to ask. Forgive me. I thought you were going to ask. Did you overhear Ran? Do you overhear the major? You do. Yes, you overhear that that back and forth between your son and the major. Absolutely.
So as she continues to focus on the bandages and applying them, and trying to make sure this minute stays still in between the shudders of pain, trying to seal these wounds, she will yell at the major. Major, your son stays with me. He is under my ward.
Under your ward.
Yes.
Shrike stops in her tracks. What does that mean?
It means the Saint Seers are my patients, like many other of the townsfolk. You know not to impede on this. Now, do you want me to finish healing up your manip or not?
Shrike nods. I do. One moment. Her eyes narrow. She looks suspicious. Tilda, roll perception.
"13."
She just racked her crossbow. Julianne, still your turn.
Oh boy.
Will spend my actions continuing to help this minute. As this is the duty I've set upon myself, and I will see it finished.
Sporgle, roll insight.
It's a fat 4.
Something's transpiring down there.
I feel like Sporgle isn't, big on the particulars, but he's sensing tension. He is going to ready his action if anyone does anything hostile to the people he has marked as on the level. He's going to take a shot,
You do so.
and that'll be my turn.
Well, actually, it was just the insight roll and stuff of that. So your turn is actually coming next. It's actually Rain.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, got you.
I didn't cue that up very well, but Rain, go ahead.
You stupid, stupid children. Rain will pull a piece of bark, like a cinnamon-style stick, out of their pack, and a piece of cloth coming up behind to where Kaysen and whoever else has the other arm of the vampire elf. If you're going to use a stick next time, a stick, not your hand. And he'll attempt to put the stick in the mouth of Arlen and wrap their mouth with the binding of cloth.
You do so, gagging Erlen.
Oh, so we can't.
And for you, Rain will hold a very tiny piece of string. Tie it off. And a question to you, Mike. In all of the time I've spent with the metaphysics of how this works, is this a reciprocal thing? Do both parties need to involve themselves in vampirism, or is it just a contagious, you've been bitten, this is now a problem?
You know vampirism as a gift, Rain. You intuit that it is unlikely that Kaysen would have been infected from a bite to the hand.
In either case, don't let it get infected. Just tie it off for now. I think you're fine.
I'll do so and look back at you and say, so would this be the one that had a very long journey through death back to undeath, or is this a different one? Because
Different one. Speaking of long deaths, Ran, keep your fucking voice down. Down, and move.
Where is my sister? We can't
With the
just
fist.
we can't just leave her there.
I agree. However,
situation.
he just points to Erlen's limp body in their arm. Move!
Move where? Where are we going?
Evening Star, now!
How is that not leaving her there?
Fair point.
Can we hide this body and come back for it?
Can we hide this body? We're not going to kill him, are we?
No.
Well, you hit him with your halberd 10 seconds ago.
We are not killing anyone before we're even having breakfast. And I still intend on having breakfast. Erlen definitely did.
Alright, but the problem is that we are missing people and they do not seem to be following us. So either we choose to go on without them to make this decision to leave, or we put him down and go and see what's happening.
Well, I think they can follow the trail of blood and 5 footprints.
And yet they're not.
I think they're here for something else. I didn't quite catch it.
Who are they?
But- It's the fist. It was a strike force. They seemed quite injured. Probably got in a tussle with the elves, which again are over that way or this way. I don't know.
I think she frowns and then sort of looks at Erlen, and then Kaysen on the other side holding Erlen and says, "The Flaming Fist would surely be able to hold him, but you took him as your hostage."
Not mine. I don't have any authority to do something like negotiate for Evening Star. I made a stupid decision and I was lucky enough that it worked.
I would
And-
give you that authority if you wanted it.
I just get the feeling if we hand him over to them, he's just gonna disappear.
Okay, well,
And then
in
we'll be
this I
back.
must trust your instincts, but I confess I am as worried as Bran is about the others. I don't want to leave you, but I do not feel great about being divided as we are.
Very well. I will stay here with Kaysen in the tree line. We're going to hide with the body. Ran, you, Noe, kid the others, and we fucking go to your house. And this
Okay.
time you'll let me in.
She laughs at that, but it's kind of a confused laugh.
There was an inkling of pain behind that message, but everything seems pained at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a joke? We're not going to unpack that right now.
I think Rain's turn concludes in this dialogue. Sporgle at the top of the order with a 22.
Right, so Sportle gets the inclination that things are getting tenser by the moment. And I was curious, not only was I saying, I would like to hold my action if anyone takes a move, but I would also like to try to disappear in the trees a bit, like a cunning action hide, for example. Just to make it so I want to try and mask the fact that he's teeing up.
You can do so. You've spent some time preparing here in the trees. I think as a reflection of that preparation, no roll required. You can hide and sort of sink into the foliage here. Lying perfectly still there with your short bow, no one can detect you very easily.
All right, then I'll end my turn.
Tilda with a 19 You sense the fist growing suspicious, perhaps cynical around you. Something seems to be developing here.
I'm going to cast a message.
Who's your target?
Arsinoe.
You send a message to Arsinoe St. Cyr. What's the message?
Fist trying to abduct your brother.
Can Noe respond?
No.
Nope, message is one way.
Shut Rainy up. I'd like to, as casually as I can, just saunter back toward the woods. I would like, even though I'm hasted, I would like to try and exaggerate how non-threatening this action is. Perhaps a performance check is in order.
I think that's reasonable. Let's see the performance check to see how much you can fly under the radar here.
$12.
Let me roll something over here.
Do. Hilda has read so much about haste. She knows what happens.
The Major sees you moving out of the corner of her eye and turns. Who are you and where are you going? What do you know about what's going on?
What's going on where? The elves are attacking us.
Aye, that's true, and we're coming to get our leadership out of here. The lieutenant and the marshal are coming with us. Do you know something?
I know many things, but we're a little bit pressed for time right now.
That's exactly right. It remains your turn, Tilda.
I will continue toward the wood.
Take your movement.
Okay. That's probably where I end up, roughly.
I concur. Anything else with your turn? You can see the silhouettes of your compatriots through the forest here. There's too many of them to be inconspicuous.
I've taken a move action. I've cast a message. Can I take the defend action?
The dodge action?
Dodge. Sorry, dodge. I'm looking right at them. I'm ready for the crossbow bolt to fly. And I'm looking to make it go over my shoulder or bury itself in a tree. And I'll end my turn.
Kaysen.
Let me zoom back into where I am. So, are we leaving Elias Kit's remains how they are?
Oh, yes.
Okay, just double checking. I don't feel like we could really do anything about that, but Okay, is Noe still helping Carrie, or is Noe looking like she's going to split off?
Noe's looking like she's gonna split off. I think that she might be looking at Rain to help.
Rain would
Pass
you off.
Okay. So we will be able to move at normal speed. We'll go over there. We're just gonna be keeping to kind of just inside the tree line, I think.
And she'll make it clear to them before they leave off that the meeting point is her father's house.
I'm navigationally challenged, so I'm assuming you'll remember how to get back there, Rain.
Hopefully.
Oh, vampires. Multiple vampires. I cast Divine Sense last night while I was on watch, and thought I felt one nearby. I'm hoping this is the one I felt and that there's not another one right next to us. There's something else I saw that I don't quite know how to describe. I can't tell if it's something under the cave or the town as a whole, but I will feel a lot better when we get out of here.
Agreed. Agreed.
So, you are looking for a vampire, and you're asking everyone to show their teeth. You don't remember what they look like?
No, I'm saying... Boy, you do not listen very well, do you? There's an infestation in this town. A problem.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. I thought you didn't remember the look of the one that you had specifically raised. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
No, no, sadly I know their face all too well.
Hmm.
Yeah, sadly is a word.
Well, this is going to be interesting to deal with. I think I will end my turn.
No way.
All right, Noah's gonna step out of the tree line so that she can pass unimpeded.
Rand sees you preparing to do this, and he says, "We have to go get my sister."
I just heard from her. She says that they're trying to take Josan.
What do you mean you just heard from her?
She has magic. You know that about your sister, right?
Okay, she magically contacted you?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
You don't just see the 3 tildes.
Still your turn, Noe.
60 feet gets her around here. So that's with using a dash action from haste. I think she'll take another dash action to sort of come up here.
I think dash gives you double your movement speed, or I'm sorry, haste gives you double your movement speed as well.
Oh, really?
That's correct.
Yeah. And I think that's rolled into the dash as well, so you would get like 120 feet on a dash.
You can move very far.
All right. Okay. So just with the extra action from dash, she ends up around here, and then I think calls out to the flame, like makes eye contact with Josan. How are they looking?
Okay for now.
Okay, and then calls out to the flaming fists. Do any of them feel familiar to her? Has she met any of these people?
Roll history at disadvantage.
Okay. Okay. An 8.
All Omnians look alike to you.
Yes, I think it's with a great sigh that she says, "Ha, you finally made it here."
The 4 of them look at you as you turn the corner. The Monip is allowing Julien to bandage his neck as he turns and looks at you. The Monip and the Blaze exchange a glance. "Are there more in the trees?" the Monip says, looking down at you, Julien. "Is this one yours too?"
She is. Whether or not if there's more in the trees, I could not tell you. I've been focusing on fixing you. But that's also why I requested that the major help the children, so to speak, which includes this one that walked around. We did have, from what it looks like, a bit of a confrontation. I was fortunately not part of the outside fight, but so I'm kind of catching up on things as much as you are.
Yes, the elves are attacking us. You are here to help us, right?
If I may, Noe, may I end your turn and allow the Flaming Fist to take their turn in response?
Yes.
Shrike looks at you, takes her hand crossbow, and puts it to Yosan's temple. She produces a cylinder from her belt and holds it up to his face with her other hand. You said layered, right? Layered St. Cyr, like this?
What are you doing?
Do you-
Please let go of him.
Do you know this name? Yosan's concentration drops.
Noe falls to her knees.
Noe falls to her knees. Tilda.
Falls to her knees.
Suddenly, yes, exactly.
I think the other two Tildas disappear.
I believe that's correct. Suddenly, you are by yourself. Shrike narrows her eyes and looks Yosan, bridge of nose to bridge of nose. Where do you know that name from? The Monip that you are, Sporgle. Taking a
When do you want me to take my shot?
Are you taking you have held your action for 2 turns here. You have
That is like that was that's as about as offensive as it can get. Like she clearly expressed, hostile action towards one of the people. So that's he would take the shot as soon as that happened. Whenever you want that to happen.
roll to hit.
It comes out to a 17, I think. Yeah, 17.
17 hits. 1 moment.
It's pointed at the major, in case that wasn't obvious.
It was. Roll the damage. And you're sneak attacking. You were undetected.
Yes. Mm-hmm. $12 damage.
From the trees, a goblin arrow flies out from a hidden position and embeds itself in Shrike's abdomen. Reflexively, she releases the bolt. You see Yosan go down, hard and limp. We start at the top of the order with Sporgle. You just took your shot. It remains your turn. You see blood flying through the air. Some of that is Major Shrike's. Some of that is Yosan St. Cyr's.
Oh. Well, after she pulls the trigger, Sporkle will attack again then. It's 11.
11 misses.
Yeah. And I will end my turn.
Tilda, with a 19, you stumble and freeze in the trees, losing your turn. Kaysen, with a 17, far to the south. You hear the distant sounds of combat far to the north. You heard someone cry out in pain.
Yeah, just fucking drop him. Rain's gonna go. Let his shoulder side limp.
I can carry him by myself.
I'm less
remind
concerned with
that
him.
I-
Fucking go! He's gonna point back towards the sounds of combat.
Out of character, I just have the bad feeling that if I drop him, he's gone.
I mean, probably. But Rain is already in motion in future towards the north.
Yeah.
They've dropped their side of Erlen and are obviously already breaking.
I am going to once again do something to piss the party off and ignore Rain. I will throw an apologetic look over my shoulder, but I will ignore him and break off, not dropping this hostage. Not letting him walk away. He's not even tied up. I'm just gonna look back and just say, take care of them. I'm gonna keep walking. Not very quickly.
Fine.
And that is turn. Erlen is definitely still not moving, right?
Correct. No way with a 16. You
Haste
are
drop.
yes. Haste has dropped. You fall to your knees as you watch Yosan do the same. Only nothing stops them at their knees. They slump backward.
Yes, I think the only thing she can do is just this like wounded animal bellow as she tries her best to crawl, I think, towards her brother, but can't even get the feeling back in her limbs enough to manage those. And that's her turn.
The flaming fist goes. Julianne, make a dexterity saving throw. You see something coming toward your face.
Great.
You duck out of the way, moving out as the Manip takes a swing at you. His gauntlet flies past your face. His dressings fall off of his wound as he gasps and stumbles toward you. The blaze next to you points his crossbow at your leg. Does 16 hit?
It does.
Holding on. He pulls his mini crossbow to bear, and as he's drawing his arm upward, he lets the bolt fly loose. It's aimed for your upper thigh. Still holding on. What are you looking for?
I'm sorry. Sending you a message and
Oh, I'm sorry. I almost never have it up, so it's like really easy for me
no,
to miss.
I know. I just typed it. Okay, it hits.
It embeds itself in your leg. Blood sprays. You can feel that something is making this crossbow bolt fiery. You take 3 piercing, 2 fire. The Blaze Goldsmith, that is with the Major, points his crossbow up at you in the trees, Sporgle. I think you're in partial cover.
I suspect that could be true, yeah.
Does 15 hit?
That depends what the partial cover gives me, or him.
You know what? It should give him a disadvantage, I think.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like a minus or a disadvantage thing.
In which case, I'm sure that 4 misses. So
Okay.
the crossbow bolt embeds itself in the tree trunk next to you. Shrike shoves Yosan over and says something to the Blaze. She says, "We have to get the marshal. Here, I'm detonating the charges." She whispers under her breath, "Ignis." After a brief moment, there's a faint rumbling from the west toward the town. The Flaming Fist ends their turns. Ran with an 8. Ran takes the dash action. 7, Ran finds you, Tilda. His arms are on your shoulders. He shakes you. Tilda. Tilds. Hello? Tilda. He ends his turn. Yosan makes a death saving throw. And has a result. Julienne with a 4. There's a crossbow bolt freshly embedded in the flesh of your left quadricep. The Manip whose wounds you have been tending just took a swing at you. They're both in melee range.
Yeah, I think Julianne is at this point understanding that negotiation of any sort probably is not going to happen, even if she pulls the weight of her alleged rank of whatever she's assigned in this town. So, seeing him go down will be the first time Julianne has frowned in a very long time. And as she reaches into her pouch to grab a vial, she will yell at Major Shrike, "You have absolutely ruined everything." And Julianne will take a flask, and she will hold it up right on top of the wound of the Manip and do level 2 chromatic orb right on top of his wound.
Which element?
Acid.
I love that. Roll the spell hit. Roll the spell attack.
Hit it. What did I hit? 23.
23 hits. acid pours down his fresh wound. Roll the chromatic orb damage.
16.
You melt him apart at the seams. The acid cuts through the joint of his collarbone and his neck. The wound you had just mended spreads, exposing the inside of his throat. He gasps in pain and falls forward. The critical juncture of his throat and his neck is melting before you as he falls into the mud, gasping in pain.
Major, I told you just moments ago, if you did anything to him, I would not heal your manip, and I am standing by my word. And once again, she will reiterate, you have ruined everything. That's the end of my turn.
Rain. You feel a puff of warm air as a distant shockwave reaches you here.
Rain knows at this point that getting back to this melee is impossible through the tree line. He's immediately going to break to the west where the road is and try to charge up. Any semblance of communication from Kaysen is ignored at this point. Too many people are in danger. He's just charging down the road, which should be 40 feet in this direction. Make it just to the broken down tree. And this puff was directly from our west, is what you said? I'm sorry?
That's exactly right.
Rain can do no more than dash.
Going to the top of the order, it's 7 o'clock. Should we take a fiver? I'd like to. Okay, back in a little bit. Hi. Forgive the lack of levity during the break. There's just not a lot of levity to inject. Hello. We're at the top of the order with Sporgle.
Okay. Would it be possible for me to try to hide myself in the foliage again?
Certainly.
To okay. Sporgle will try to reposition himself somewhere in the tree unseen then.
You do so. Requires very little of your action economy. Should you wish
Right,
to do so.
I was gonna go for a cunning action hide type
Okay,
deal.
you do so.
Or did you just roll stealth?
Given the cadence of events, not necessary. You are able to. You are here in the woods. You're being poorly engaged by one person with a short range weapon. No roll required. You hide.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna take another pop at her. $23, I assume, hits.
It does.
Uh, 12 again.
12 piercing.
Yep.
Got it. Tilda with a 19. Oh, sorry. Anything else on your turn, Sporkle?
No, that will be all.
I'm going to quickly reach back to my brother's face and direct it right at where Yosan fell. Like face clamp. Then I will yell out, "No way! We're gonna fucking kill her!" You have Bardic Inspiration. I'm gonna charge out of the woods. I'm going to position myself as close as I can, exerting a zone of control where Rand can charge up behind me. And I'm going to take the dodge action.
You do so,
I'll end my turn.
creating a channel through which Rand could charge. Kaysen.
Looks like it's just me and you now, jackass. Oh, that is more running than I have done in the last week combined. And I will not dash. And now that I'm just carrying him by myself, I have very little movement economy, and I'm just gonna basically take one big step and like collapse against a tree to just sort of catch my breath, collect myself. I'm already getting further ahead and alone than I want to be, and I will give others some time to catch up. I'd like to take a moment in either order to just take a glance around and then also kind of shift him off and set him on the ground. I definitely don't have any rope with me, but I would at least like to tie like a strip of fabric or something around his wrist to give me like a couple seconds notice if he starts trying to move. Not enough to hold him, just enough to give me a little reaction time.
You could find a drawstring that you could cannibalize from a pouch you have. I think you could take your turn making a makeshift leash, essentially, to connect his wrist to yours. You take a look around. The wind swirls a bit. You feel warmth from the west for a moment, and you see smoke high in the sky. Something's burning in the town. As you look that direction, you see little bits of white paper in the trail of smoke.
What is it with my life and themes of fire? And he will tie Erlen's wrist. I think tie Erlen's wrists together like this rather than tying Erlen to him, because Kaysen's gonna have him slung over his shoulder, like holding with one hand, and would want to be able to readjust, and then would want the other hand free for weapon if possible. So he's just gonna sort of tie Erlen's hands like this.
You do so.
It's not the best job. It's probably the wrong knot. It's going to be some random knot for climbing or something.
Your hands are shaking, and you tie a simple knot. It's enough to hold the drawstring closed, but that's just about it.
And I will end my turn.
No way.
I think as Tilda surges out of the trees, she's also just barreling straight forward, her halberd in her hands defensively. So she's gonna take the dash action. She will kind of like skid. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So she can do this in such a way that she's sort of looping around to Yosan's side without being within range, assuming they don't have the range to do attacks of opportunity. She throws her body over theirs. I think in the cinematic universe of this moment, there's this moment where she's looking down at them. Some of the blood from her face drips off and lands on theirs. And she has this understanding in a way she's never had before of something she is always going to have to hold back. And she stares up at the Major, I think, just with sheer indignation. She does not have the action economy to heal them on this turn, but as long as they're in her aura, they'll have, I think, either +4 or +8, depending on whether
On their
they
alignment.
are. Yes. And she is going to go ahead and use her bonus action to just, I think, the butt of the halberd into, I think, right into where Sporgle shot them, like that wound, trying to knock the Major back. So I'll roll this bonus action polearm attack. I'm gonna use the Bardic Inspiration. I got a 12, but I'm gonna use Bardic. What's your Bardic?
D6.
For a total of 16.
16 hits.
Okay.
You just barely connect.
The bards will sing songs about this.
And that's 7 points of bludgeoning damage. Like, I don't think I have any other stink to put on top of that. No other stink. Can she smite actually?
On your
Yes.
polearm attack, on the blunt of your polearm attack, yeah, it's an attack. Yes, you can.
She smites the hell out of this Major.
Divine Smite or a Smite variant?
I don't have any variants. It will be a Divine Smite. So this will be our last spell slot. 2d8. Eight radiant.
Major Shrike is bloodied. It remains your turn. You're out
That's
of
all
act.
her action. Okay, yeah.
Got it. The Flaming Fist go next. Shrike tosses her scrying rock to the ground. It emits a yellow flash as it lands, once again to the south and to the east. She takes both daggers out and takes a 5-foot step. She attacks you, Noe, using Rakish Audacity so that she can use her sneak attack even though she's in plain sight because you have no one in an adjacent square. One moment. She attacks with her main hand. 7.
No.
She attacks with her offhand. 6.
No.
She misses with both daggers.
Noe screams in her face.
You do so. One moment. The Monip casts. 1 second. Thinking. The Monip takes his mace off of his belt after swinging at you with just his fist, Julianne. This time he takes his mace and tries to connect with a necrotic strike. $11.
It does.
You could use shield as a reaction, as previously discussed. You
Yes,
have
and
your
that's what
reaction.
she's going to do. That's going to trigger the prepped shield. So as this mace comes down on Julianne, in her quick reaction, she will flick one of the potions on the strap of her bag. It's just a small vial, and as it snaps open, a golden cloud kind of just emits quickly around her and kind of just deflects the blow of the mace.
You do so. The Blaze next to you lines up with his hand crossbow. He takes a 5-foot step and aims at center of mass, Julian. $17 hits, I believe.
That one does, yes.
Two piercing, 2 fire.
Okay.
The Flaming Fist Blaze Goldsmith to the right. Takes another shot at you, Sporgle. You are hidden up in the trees, and he does so at disadvantage, shooting at where he thinks you are. A 4 misses. He doesn't know where you are and is sort of desperately shooting in your direction. The crossbow bolt sails through the trees. You hear it cutting through the leaves. The Flaming Fist ends their collective turn. Ran with an 8. Has to dash to get anywhere. He uses his movement just to get out of the forest. He pushes past and uses the channel that you've created, Tilda. He rushes up alongside you and ends his turn, having used all of his movement. Yosan with a 5 makes a death saving throw. There is a result. And they end their turn. Julianne with a 4.
Okay, in order to get some room from herself, she will snap another prepared vial on her bag strap. It is a level 1 version of Thunderwave. So the two in front of me both need to make a Constitution save.
Making con saving throws on Blaze Argent and Armonip. One moment. What is your spell DC?
It's 13 Constitution save.
They both fail.
So they both take 10 thunder damage, and they're knocked 10 feet back.
10 feet away from you. You intend to, you can aim this. You're aiming them west. Is that right? Or southwest?
Just west is fine.
Got it. And I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. You said how much thunder damage? 8 each, correct?
10.
10 thunder. Got it. Still your turn, Julianne.
Since she has some breathing room now, she will use her movement to get to the other side of Ilsan, and we'll get ready to prep to stabilize him. I will end my turn.
Rain with a 3.
They've been moved slightly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see them. Give me 2 seconds. Rain will just dash, unspool the sensor back to slack, and cast Produce Flame. And this is just the producing the flame part of it. But their full action is just dashing and trying to make something of a perception towards what is even happening, the state of people at this point.
You see, no perception required. You come around the corner just as Julianne shoves a Flaming Fist Blaze and Monip away with a Thunder Wave. You see both of them knocked off their feet as they're pushed downstream of the river. You see the Loch Lauren siblings standing shoulder to shoulder, sizing up the Flaming Fist Major, who is getting a bit surrounded. You see the figure of Yosan St. Cyr curled up on the ground in the fetal position, surrounded and flanked by Noe and Julianne. Major Shrike has 2 daggers, one in each hand, defending herself. At the top of the order, Sporgle.
Sporgle kind of wants to shoot at the guy who's been taking pot shots at him, but since he hasn't been successful, he's kind of written this guy off for the time being, so he's going to keep hammering the Major. Am I still attacking with advantage? Is she not paying attention to me at all?
She's not paying attention to you at all. She is locked in deadly combat with Noe.
All right, then. That's a 23.
23 hits.
Here we go again. 12 again.
12 piercing. This catches her at the base of her neck. She gasps. Blood comes out of her mouth. Still your turn, Sporgle.
Sporgle wants to yell something out so bad, but he's afraid to give his position away, so he will keep quiet, stay hunkered down, and end my turn.
Tilda with a 19. Tilda, roll perception at advantage.
$16.
Something like confetti is landing all around you. Little bits of paper. Something about it seems familiar. It's your turn.
I will kind of push off against my brother as I run forward, and as I touch him, I'll say, I saw their armor has a weakness near the neck. Cast guidance on him.
You do so. Ran nods his head. You see him holding Kaysen's shield still. Anything else on your turn, Tilda?
Guidance is a bonus action?
Correct.
Or full action? Okay,
Fairly sure
I
guidance
will...
is bonus. Anyone want to correct me? I'm pretty sure guidance is a bonus action. It's a bonus action. What else are you doing?
I'm attacking. I'm attacking the Major.
You do so. She is stumbling. She is under a lot of pressure. You are surrounding her.
11.
11 misses.
Okay, that'll be my turn.
Kaysen with a 17.
There's a lot going on, and he's definitely feeling that building tension that comes from being at a distance from the group, sort of calling back to when he was having to carry Laird, but he just pissed off an entire army grabbing a hostage, and he is going to keep this hostage if basically no matter what it takes. So he's going to, now that he's tied him up, pick up Erlen again and just actually, instead of moving diagonally, I think we are going to go just a little bit further into the forest, and just keep looking around and just keeping an eye out for a movement of any kind, any weird movement, any weird smells, any sounds.
Something unexpected does happen as your turn flows into Erlen, who is immediately after you. He draws in a breath and is suddenly conscious against you. You hear him wriggle and awaken. He slowly comes back to consciousness. You feel him sigh. He ends his turn as he slowly comes awake. There is blood coming out of his mouth. No way
Yeah,
with a
my
sick.
blood.
I'm sorry, say again, Ari.
You just said, yeah, my blood. Well, both.
That's exactly right. Yes, you sense almost a blood covenant here as you see some blood coming out of his mouth that must be yours and some that must be his. Noe with a 16.
So again, in the cinematic universe, Noe is standing over Chosan's prone body, foot on either side. She sort of reaches down, grabs him by the back of his shirt, pulls him up, one-handed to a kneeling position, and she's going to do lay on hands for 10 points. Murmuring, I think this, like, although frantic, her voice evens out as she performs it. I lay Shantaea's splendor and bounty at your table. What's mine is yours to take and satiate and be satiated, so take heart. And then that's her action. With her bonus action, she's going to use her other hand to again swing the butt end of the halberd into the major. A 22?
22 hits.
5 points of bludgeoning.
5 points of bludgeoning knocks her to the ground. She gasps for air, and her eyes slowly close. It remains your turn, Noe.
And that's all of her action economy.
The flaming fist goes. The blaze next to the major calls out, Major! Takes a 5-foot step. Instead of taking another shot at you, Sporgle, he desperately reloads his hand crossbow and shoots at you, Noe.
Good.
The crossbow bolt flies over your head with a 3. The Monip and Blaze, pushed back, see their major fall. Their morale breaks. Rain. You see the Blaze and the Monip turn and run. Both take the dash action. As an optional reaction,
Entangle. He's going to cast Entangle.
you do so. An action not required. You use your reaction for this. They are both pulled to the ground by vines. Tell me of your vines.
In a swift movement, he causes an arc of this low to the ground purple mist. From the ground sprouts these sort of wretched things. It's like a false memory of those same orange flowers, but they are burnt and ashen as they wrap around the ankles of these two fleeing men, but no witnesses.
It becomes Rand's turn. Rand rushes over to Yosan, stepping over Major Shrike. He drops down to one knee, puts his hand on Yosan's chest, and uses 6 points of lay on hands. He pushes divine healing through Yosan's body, who has a grievous head wound. He's murmuring something under his breath. It becomes Yosan's turn. With the combined healing, they slowly come back to consciousness with a massive wound in the side of their head. Julienne with a 4.
If he is stabilized from the lay of hands, I'm going to use my remaining health potion and immediately administer it.
You do so. They gulp it down. Healing for how much? I'll roll 2d8 plus 1. 1 second.
And since he was also given a potion by me, he will have alchemic inspiration.
You inspire him. You bring him back with a combined lay on hands into the world of the living. He heals for 7. Still your turn, Julian.
So after he is stabilized, I will take another very crude looking vial. It looks like it's shadowed glass wrapped around with iron, and I will hold it up and I will point it at the Flaming Fist blade that is still standing, and I will end my turn.
You
do so. Rain with a 3, still with your full action.
Still with the full action. Give me 2 seconds. I actually don't know how this cantrip works.
What cantrip?
It was poison spray. I was making sure that it was not an AoE that was acid splash that would do those things. However, Rain is still going to approach the now grounded two, kneel down, and I really can't put these to the flame. It'd be a bit silly, wouldn't it? And puff a small little packet of poisonous material into the nostrils of the one that is closest to it. It's a Constitution saving throw. Yes.
1 second. He passes, I'm sure. 19.
Yeah, absolutely. It does nothing on a save.
It puffs right past his head. He's breathing very hard, but somehow misses exhaling your foul green smoke. At the top. Go ahead, please.
Seeing that the rest of them are upright, at the very least, no one is fallen in battle. Rain will crane over this man and gently swing the censer up in front of their eyes.
At the top of the order, Sporgle.
Sporgle's gonna start on the guy who was taking pot shots at him now. Uh, 21
hits.
To hit. Here we go again. Another 12. What are the odds of that?
You line up your short bow with his face. The arrow flies through the air, nice and straight and perfect. It lodges just below his eye, and he falls backwards to the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
You see his blood running into the creek. It remains your turn, Sporgle.
Borgle uses a bonus action to give himself a good nod, and then ends his turn.
Tilda with a 19.
I'd like to make some sort of check. I heard the major say detonate. I heard her cast a fire spell. And now I'm seeing all kinds of paper around town. Is my mother alive?
How would you like to determine that?
I just want to feel it.
Your forlornness is like a spreading sinkhole in your heart.
I will line up a kick on the downed major.
A coup de grace.
I don't know. I'm just kicking her down when she's down. I'm mad. I don't think I'm particularly aiming to kill, but if it happens, you know.
You kick on whatever bits of her limbs are closest. No roll required. You kick flesh, chainmail, hands, anything.
I'll kind of incoherently scream at her as I do this.
You do so.
And then I will grab Ran. He's right next to me.
He looks over at you.
I think Mom's gone. I think they torched the town.
What are you talking about? Mom's not gone. She's at our house. She's safe. The doors are locked. She's home by herself. No one would come there.
Ran. I'm right.
You can't be. If you were, then we have to go. We should go get her right
Ran.
now. If something's wrong,
Ran.
what?
You know I'm right. You can feel it too. You're not that stupid.
His lips are parted. He holds his ear to the wind. There's smoke rising from Evening Star. He looks unwilling or unable to confront this.
It's just us, Ran.
His eyes are locked on yours.
It's just us. We're the last Loch Lawrence.
What does that mean? How do you... He exhales slowly, painfully. Denial. Fear. His eyes quiver. For a second, he fails to focus on you. Over your shoulder, you hear the flaming fist blaze, choking out blood as he falls in the dirt.
I'll pass my turn.
Kaysen. Erlen wriggles against you.
As I feel him move, I am trying to keep calm and actually just sort of talking while I'm walking. I don't even bother to stop. And I'm just going to lean over and say, don't do anything stupid unless you want to be knocked unconscious for a fourth time in 24 hours. Your bird is fine, a little dizzy, but okay. So just don't do anything stupid. And also, you bite really hard. And as long as it looks like he's not going anywhere, we're gonna keep walking.
Erlen is gagged, Kason. And yet, you can hear his words in your skull as if he's talking to you. His tone is accusatory. You are just like the ones that took me out of the sky the first time. His tone is even, as if he's talking to you directly with his brain. You're one of them, aren't you? You are. You can tell me. Just nod your head. You're one of them.
What, a human sympathizer? Yeah, not really good enough for much else.
His jaw is slack, but his words are clear. You know that's not what I mean. You're like that druid, aren't you? There's something in your mind that makes you different. Say it.
Something in my mind? I'm not following. I thought you were convinced that as a Lathandrite I was some powerless, good-for-nothing waste of space. So, am I something or not? You tell me.
Do you say this out loud?
Mm-hmm.
You do
I'm
so.
not playing back and forth with the little mind-talking thing.
You do so. Erlen ends his turn, perfectly limp. Noe with a 16.
I think she looks to Joseon to make sure that he's stable. They're able to get up.
They are. If
Who else is still up?
Let me take tokens off the board. Major Shrike is, as far as you can tell, dead. You've been kicking her body now for at least 10 seconds. She has a number of grievous wounds. You think if you were to save her, it would be a heroic last-ditch effort. The Flaming Fist Blaze, standing over Rand's shoulder, took a goblin arrow to the head. He is dead. Rain has the Flaming Fist Blaze and the Flaming Fist Monip that Julian was tending to caught in an entangle spell. They are entangled to the ground, unable to move. Joseon is up, moving a little bit. Both of the Flaming Fists seem unable to fight. They are both running. The Blaze is crying. It remains your turn, Noe.
Rain looks like he's got it handled. She's gonna look at the Major's body, the silver cylinder that she had earlier. Is that something she could grab?
Yes. You grab it.
What is it?
It is.
What was it worth trying to kill my sibling over?
It is a long bronze cylinder, perfectly machined. It says Arcane Beacon Mark III, property of Laird St. Cyr, Evening Star, Cormyr. You stare at it. Now you make an Arcana check. You stare agape, trying to understand this object. You stared long enough that you try to understand it.
That was an 18 on die for a total of 20.
An arcane beacon, an arcane beacon, an arcane beacon. What does this do? It allows your father to focus a spell.
Why do they have? Can she search this body for any proof that these are actually Flaming Fist people?
No roll required. Your skepticism is noted. It would be difficult to discern. It would be difficult to ascertain more while Shrike barely hangs on to life. It remains your turn. You hold the St. Cyr Arcane Beacon in your hand.
She's not able to use it. She passes it to Joseon.
Yosan takes it from your hand. One of Father's... He gives these to people, right? I've seen him do that since we were kids. It's for centering a spell.
They
Why
tried
do
to
you-
kill you over it?
I don't think they tried to kill me over it. I think they tried to kill me because they know that I have something to do with it. She said my name. When I said Laird,
Hey, we need to go find Father. We have to go. We have to go. Everybody, we're going. Hilda? Hilda, what's wrong?
I'll point at the, if I can, a flake of paper from the sky. And then I'll gesture at the Major's corpse. I think she did this. I think we're going back to a funeral pyre.
Hey, then we have to go. And she steps over the Major's dying body and will take, I think, both a head count of everybody there and start moving on past down the road. And that will be her turn.
Are we... I want to follow, but is it inappropriate?
let us start here. You find yourselves off the initiative order. Erlen,
I want to follow.
You do so. Rain, you have two flaming fists essentially in the palm of your hand, inside of your entangle. They are both unable or unwilling to fight. The morale is completely broken. The blaze is crying, as I said. There is a strange snow in the air.
I'll make it quick. I'm sorry. Rain will like to administer a toxic agent to the both of them.
Walk me through it. Orally administered via spell. Tell me everything.
At this point, it isn't a spell anymore. He sits down to these two in front of him and rummages through his pack. And instead of trying to draw upon whatever magic he has, he produces two little pouches of green toxic powder and places them in their mouth. If you bite down, you're free of it. Else the owlbears may want to tear through, and we wouldn't want that, would we? No witnesses, sweethearts. Those little lives you tried to take, well, they need to sprout. And there's no stopping that one.
Julianne will calmly walk up as you're explaining this.
Just bite down.
Bite down on those will be mercy, because if you don't, what I will do to you will be far worse.
It seems you've already done far worse. Rain will upright himself and try to... He's not even going to pay attention if they do or don't. He imagines at this point they're resigned to it.
You look away. You hear the sound of the blaze falling to the ground in a clump. The Manup looks at you, Julianne, and mouths the words before biting down.
I'm sorry too.
I'm not.
The wind howls through the tiny valley here.
I'm sorry for the potential that they've just completely ruined.
Yes, innocent loss. Let's get together. Kaysen is off by themselves with Erlen. At least a lot of you still stand.
Can you catch me up on what exactly is going on?
It seems that you all found yourselves in a tussle with the fucking Flaming Fist, and that we killed to kill them so that there was no witnesses, so these fine young kids stay alive.
Yes. Yes. And they need to stay alive, and they will stay alive, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Mind you, I step out of the cave, and half of you are already gone, somewhere scampering around in the woods. I don't know what happened. Suddenly, there's a small contingency of flames here. Shrike is here for whatever reason, 3 days early.
To that end, we didn't really have a good chance to question them. How about we move on to where Kaysen is? There's a bit of a pit stop, more fangs to check. You all good to move? Rain will bark out to the lot of you that are around the corpse of Shrike.
I will try and locate Ran.
Ran is standing in the middle of all of this, staring at the horizon. You sense he is chewing on the words that you said to him.
I'll rush up to him and impetuously grab his elbow and try and drag him down the road.
You do so. He goes along with you.
We need to meet up at St. Cyr Manor. If it's not the one that, you gesture towards the falling snow. That's where I told Kaysen to go.
Yosan
And then we're going to town. Yes, Rain, we're going to town next.
Yes.
I need to get to my lab first. I have nothing. This may end up being a very long day.
And having heard all kinds of suspicious sounds, I'm moving not only south but also a little deeper into the forest, not knowing what's going on.
You do so.
Sporgle is going to clamber down and go over to the Major's body.
You do so.
And then he's going to whip out his goblin kukri. He's going to flip it upside down, jam it into her eye, and then give it a nice 90-degree twist just to make sure.
You do so.
And then he's... Okay, good.
You desecrate her body. Go ahead.
He was just secure, making sure she wasn't getting back up again, and then he goes for that sweet fucking thing she had on her hand, like that crossbow thing. He wants that.
It's a hand crossbow +2.
Sporgle, without putting any ammunition in, he pops it back, releases the trigger, does it a couple times. He fucking likes it, and he stores that away.
She also has a case with a number of machined bolts inside that goes with the crossbow.
Oh, well, all right. He will obviously squirrel those away as well.
Good, yes, loot them. Sporgle, you're the fastest. Take what they have. We need to go.
Okay, Sporgle, go fast. And Sporgle quickly starts rummaging around for things he can carry.
Give me a moment to look as well, Sporgle, if you don't mind. I need to see what documents she has.
Okay.
It'll take a moment. Julian will also walk over to grab the scrying stone that was tossed to the ground.
You find no documents, but you do find a Flaming Fist scrying stone.
What do you suppose they could be tracking with this?
It appears to be a quartz crystal about the size of an orange.
As I start to turn back and start to head back towards the group, I will kind of just give it a shake in my hand as I observed her do so a moment earlier.
You do so. When you shake it, it blinks. It blinks pointing south, blink, blink, and then pointing east, a little bit fainter.
Does it just keep cycling between those two, the south and east markers?
That's exactly right. Erlen wriggles against you, Kaysen.
I think we're moving pretty slowly because I'm pretty sore from Laird leaning against me for several hours yesterday and also just sleeping on bare rock. So we're not making great progress, but I'm at least just happy that he's not up and walking. So, is this actually just about land? Humans, elves? 'Cause I've had the sinking feeling that's...
Of course not.
I think.
Land, we're talking about ascendancy, becoming something more.
I think my gut instinct to hate you and that tavern and most of the things I said were because, unfortunately, you remind me of the person who was most important to me and everything I hated about him and the reasons everything ended. So I am going to carry you to Lathander knows where, and I'm not happy about it, but rest assured I have no plans to kill you. I can't say the same for the rest of the group. I don't know, and if they try to, I won't stop them. But I'm hoping to use you as some sort of insurance.
His voice
As to what you...
His voice rattles in your head. If your companions would kill me, then you just kill me now. Make it quick for me. I know they'll torture me. If you think they'll kill me, then do me that courtesy, or let me go.
I don't think they will. And you are not going anywhere after what it just took to capture you. I'm assuming they'll be sending someone to negotiate at some point.
He drools through the gag onto your shoulder. Bloody saliva drips through your armor. Your shoulder feels wet.
I would heal you if I thought you wouldn't walk away. But I already tried that and sort of got rolled back, unfortunately.
As a question, our boy Johan was shot in the head with the crossbow bolt, correct? That did happen.
That did
Does
happen.
So you still have that in his head?
It seems
Or was
like,
this...
as far as you know, the bolt seems like it was stopped by his temple. You could probably go back and find the bolt should you desire. Yes, he suffered a grievous head wound that took him just past the, or just within the parameters of what could be considered alive.
I was just trying to paint a picture in my head if he was walking around with a bolt in his head still or not.
No, there's no bolt physically in his head right now. There is, however, a bit of a scar here, something that has been fleshed over. It is noticeable, something that they will likely carry for the rest of their lives.
What is it with you, St. Cyrs, and brain trauma? A lot of you are fine, but Noe is clearly bleeding from the head still from the previous battle, right? Let's walk and try to tend to things. Triage as we move. Rain will, as we are as a group attempting to exit this area, cast Healing Word on Noe.
Noe is briefly bent down towards Trieste at the edge of the tree line and just say, We are heading home as fast as we can. You go wherever you will, I know that, but be clever, be safe.
His tail swishes back and forth. When you say "I love you," he runs delicately through the shallow water and nuzzles your leg.
She plants a kiss on the top of his furry little head, and then he'll follow her or he won't. She's long since given up trying to tell him to do anything.
You have a loose sort of control over your cat, at best.
She'll catch up to Joseon as Rain is making to cast this spell on her. She gives Rain a look of gratitude, but it's tired for sure.
Regain 6 points of HP as a soothing, mentholy sort of mist wafts out of the sensor your way.
You heal Yasan for 6 HP.
I'm healing no way.
You're healing no way. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me undo that. Okay, thank you.
She links her arm with Yosan's as they walk.
Sporgle is going to move over to the stream, and he's going to begin washing blood off his hands and out of his clothing. As I imagine when he was looting, he probably got a little bit mucked up. Not necessarily for hygiene purposes, but smelling like blood isn't advantageous in his line of work, so he wants to make sure he doesn't have that stink on him.
You do so, taking a moment to wash the blood off.
To be clear to the lot of you, we didn't do this. You meet Morphis down the road. We have one of their workers, he gestures towards Juliet. This never happened. These were the elves. Poison. Blades. Goblin arrows from the woods. Not us.
Why did they try to kill us?
Your guess is as good as mine. This all happened while I was down there with Erlen and Kaysen.
I think Noe looks so confused that she just says, "But we pay taxes."
No, don't we all?
I also did want to make a point of Sporgle retrieving his arrows from the bodies, because he does have obviously a very specific kind of arrow that could easily be traced back to him. So he will gather all those up.
You do so.
I will be wordlessly dragging Rand down the trail. Like I'm towing something in the water.
You lead Aran, who seems to be getting increasingly emotionally catatonic, down the trail. I infer that we are heading south as a group. It seems there's a general momentum that way.
Yes.
Rain will be attempting to take the lead here.
Unfortunately, it seems that you're missing a paladin.
Who is very deep in the woods, not knowing what's going on, but really not wanting to be seen.
I imagine the group is headed toward the St. Cyr Manor that
That
we
is
came
the
across the
intention,
river
yeah.
of the night before.
Rain inferred that Kaysen would have understood to go back there, so there's no reason they would go back into the wood.
There's no inference necessary. You said it out loud.
Yeah.
Either way, Matilda's headed there.
You are headed to St. Cyr Manor.
Headed to St. Cyr Manor.
Give me a inclusive of everybody. Are we all heading towards St. Cyr Manor? Everybody? Okay. Julian?
How far is my lab from St. Cyr's?
A quarter mile. Not far. A 5 to 10 minute walk.
I'm gonna divert as quickly as I can to try and get in there, grab some stuff, and head back.
You do so. Yes. Okay. Noted. So I think we're gonna have two detours that will likely yield about the same amount of time. You are gonna swing by your lab, and Kason, you are in the woods a bit by yourself. Tell me more. You elected, so you are also going to St. Cyr Manor. Is that correct?
That is correct, and it is kind of dark in here.
It is dark in the woods, and I think it'll probably take you about 10 to 15 minutes to extricate yourself from this deep forest. Even though you are a wood elf and the Corman Theory here is your home, it's still difficult to physically navigate.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not going to walk out of the woods until I clearly hear the party coming by and just sort of announcing their presence. Until then, I will stay hidden, moving pretty slowly, just taking my time and making sure that Erlen isn't going anywhere. Really wishing that I could stop for breakfast, but probably not the best time.
And I think I would like to cut the session here as we get ready to come together for next session. Can everybody play next week on the 14th, 1 week from today?
I don't actually believe so for me or Sarah. We have a Christmas party. That's
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm actually thumbs down on that too.
Okay, well, while we're all
Understand.
still here, what about, can you play that Sunday the 15th?
That should be fine for me.
Okay, what about for other people? Ari, yes. Jewel, that's a no.
I have to check.
Okay. Dave, that's a maybe. Latro, that's a yes.
I have company from the 13th into the 17th, so I'll be pretty indisposed.
Okay, so it sounds like we probably can't play next weekend. What about the 21st before Christmas?
That is my mom's moving weekend, but I won't be busy all day. Definitely not in the evening when it's dark.
Okay, sounds good.
Sunday I may be able to play. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But
You mean Sunday the 15th, or you're good for that? I think that next week is probably out. It seems like so, but you're good for Saturday the 21st, right? So 2 weeks from today.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, I will see everybody in 2 weeks then.
That was an intense one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.